How good are they? The top end credits we've got here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week Hello from the Other Side edition. Tonight with me, I've got Mat Lax, Rotherham United supporter from a team that we don't like to admit are our local rivals. But as far as this league goes this season, and in terms of our proximity in the league, they're quite the rival. How's it going, Matt? You all right, pal?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I think this is about the 7th podcast you and I have done together, isn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, they always put us together, mate. It's just the best ones, clearly.
Well, that's it, right? We're like the best ones. So I wanted to get you up, talk to you about your about our upcoming nuptials and our Sunday dinner ruining fixture from Sky Sports. I mean, I tell you what, though, I'm kind of not unhappy about it. There's a point where, you know, when like on a Saturday everything's happening, you've got your bet on, and you don't want to bet on Wednesday. You don't want to bet on your own team, and you're kind of like, it's all falling to shit. And then you go, what am I doing tomorrow? Oh shit, yeah, I've got football, and then it's done by like 2:30, and then you've got all day to get shit faced. And all you can do is just say to the missus, like, well, football, isn't it? So it's not been the best of seasons. I mean, Sheffield Wednesday, obviously, being the master of their own demise in the league, given the way the summer's gone since the playoff final. However, Rotherham United, true to form, shit in the bed in the Championship. I mean, you must be pissed off with it now, Matt. Come on, man. I mean, bloody hell, it's been about 10 years, hasn't it?
We finally stayed up last year. That was a big moment. Crazy.
What kind of bullshit's that? Cost me a fortune on my bet. Like.
Yeah, we didn't go down. Norwich didn't go up. There was something wrong with Championship last season. I'm sure we'll fix it this year. But yeah, not a great start. We are rare. I don't often say this, but I'm really grateful for Sheffield Wednesday because you're making us look not as bad this season.
Yeah,
really grateful.
Yeah, nobody's talking about it, are they? I mean, there's a lot of chat about QPR. There's a lot of chat about Sheffield Wednesday being rubbish, but no one's talking about Rotherham. You might just sneak off the radar and just get out of it.
Well, I won't bet on it. Inconsistent's the word. We've looked really good at times this season. We've had 5 or 6 games where we've looked brilliant. We were brilliant against Norwich. We were really good against Leicester. Brilliant against Blackburn. Other than a red card, we'd have won the game. But then we went to Millwall and got spanked 3-0 and basically didn't turn up. Similar to Huddersfield, went 2-0, didn't turn up. We've got enough to stay up. That's the frustrating thing. It's not like we're rubbish and we're rubbish every game. We've been good. We just can't hit back at net. Yeah, you guys. We can't hit back at net enough. And our defence is, we've got barely a fit centre-half, to be honest with you, which is a big problem. Injuries are killing us this season. It's unbelievable.
Well, that's the rough and tumble of the Championship, my friend. There's a lot documented about Sheffield Wednesday's 11 players out about 3-4 seasons ago. But I think that's going to be an issue because there's a lot more focus on physicality rather than football and ability nowadays, right? And these kids that they're playing are, I could say kids now. I'm 43 tomorrow. These kids playing now are essentially made of Lego. I mean, I'm going to wind it back a bit, Matt, and I kind of want to talk about Paul Warne a bit because I'm going to do a confession here now. Me, Dan Fudge, host of the Wednesday Week, the Sheffield Wednesday Fans podcast over the last 13 years. I used to go to Rotherham quite a lot.
Okay.
And I used to, back in the days of Garner and Warne and Fortune West and even Sean Goto, I think I saw play for the Millers. Yeah. And I used to have to. So when Wednesday were away, my dad would take me to Rotherham, and he's got his company or something got a box there, so he's there every bloody week now, and I hear all about our great bloody Sheffield, about our great Rotherham United are, and how much I'm a disappointment to the family by supporting the blue side of South Yorkshire, but I was a bit disappointed with Paul Warne going to Derby County, and given the fact that you stayed up last season, do you feel like this is a step forward for Rotherham to try and get out of that cycle a little bit? Because it's going to start pissing you off after a bit of time, right?
Oh yeah, I mean the Paul Warne leaving last year was a kick in the gut from every Rotherham fan. He's had his haters all along, but I think we were 8th. I think when he left, and I know it was only 10 games in or something like. We were never going to stay there, but he got us in a position where we were playing solid football. It took him 6 years essentially, but it got him what he clearly felt was a Championship squad, and then a nice offer comes in, and he decides to leave. I mean, whatever, that's fine. People are still upset about it now. Now he's struggling. Some certain Rotherham fans are enjoying it, I think we need to try and move on. I think that's difficult because of how much a legend he was. You know, it wasn't like if Matt Taylor went to somebody like Derby, I think we'd all sort of say, because he's a career manager. He's just been here for a bit. Paul Warne should still be a Rotherham legend, but it did hurt. But then Matt Taylor came in. He had good spells and bad spells last season, but he did what Paul Warne couldn't. He kept us up. He made some tough decisions in terms of Richard Wood getting significantly less game time before eventually leaving it, which worked. It helped us progress. I felt in the season, in the close season, that we were on the right path. That Matt Taylor's much better tactical than Paul Warne. Paul Warne's a great man manager, one of the best, certainly outside the Premier League in terms of man management. His tactics leave a lot to be desired, as Derby fans will tell you at the minute. Yeah. But Matt Taylor tactically gets it mostly spot on, but we just don't turn up sometimes. And it's, last time the Norwich game, we beat them 2-1. I think went into international break thinking this is brilliant. They've won all 5 games. We've played them off at Park for probably an hour, and then we go to Huddersfield and lose 2-0 and just don't turn up. It looks like a different team, and I think that's Matt Taylor's problem. And if he doesn't solve it, he's gonna be in a lot of trouble. But he kept us up, and that's the relief when we finally stayed up after 3 consecutive Championship relegations. It were almost as enjoyable as the promotion the year before. It just felt like a house had been lifted off you, because you just felt inevitable what was going to happen, and we managed to stay up. It was a really good season. We had some really good moments, some bad moments, obviously, but some really good moments, and finished perfectly. 4,500 fans at Wigan with nothing riding on it. We don't do those type of games. It was just a great end to the season, and then this season started, and it got difficult again, didn't
it? Do you feel like I literally just before we jumped on tonight, I've just been talking to the 2 lads from the Sheffield Star from the Sheffield Wednesday contingent, and we kind of brought up that Sheffield Wednesday have. Given that we're record breaking 12 without a win and all the rest of it, but we've also, cheers for the laughing. we've also been relatively, to some extent, and we're not solely blaming it on this, like to some extent, a little bit unfortunate with some of the fixtures that fell in the first third of the season. Albeit not all of them, don't get me wrong, but some of them, Christ, I could have done with that later on. I could have done with that later on and stuff like that. Do you feel like Rotherham have been the victim of that a little bit, and there's more to come?
I think that, that's definitely right. But when we thought, we'll play Wednesday because they're on downside, but then you've brought in a new manager who's probably going to have a little bit of a bounce, even not last year, going to have a bit of a bounce. We play QPR the week after, who will probably sack Gareth Ainsworth. So we're still getting into that. Our first 5 games were Stoke on the opening day and got battered. We thought they were going to be brilliant. They're 6th bottom now. So that doesn't look great. We then Blackburn, who had a really good season last season, Sunderland, Leicester, Norwich, and that was an incredibly tough start. And you're thinking, all right, it's fine. We've got Millwall, we've got Huddersfield, we've got Preston, who obviously hit and miss. We've got Bristol City. We'll pick up some points against them. And we didn't. We didn't do it. It didn't,
just didn't happen.
It doesn't work. I think people always say, you've got to play everybody twice. I think there is a good time and a bad time to play everybody.
Yeah.
I think we've been a bit unlucky, but then when you get given a chance to play an average team at the right time, you've got to take advantage of it, and that's what we're not doing, and that's the worry for the rest of the season. If you don't beat teams, not even around you, just sort of near you, then you're going to go down with a whimper, and we need to change that, and quickly, hopefully.
well, we'll see you down there, like, you know what I mean. But do you not feel like, in terms of timing, like essentially we've got Plymouth midweek tomorrow night when we're recording this, so we've got Plymouth midweek, and by the time people are going to be listening to this, we'll have had a result there. Now that one there is a bit of a free hit for our new gaffer, for Danny Rule. There's a lot in terms of the more sensible Sheffield Wednesday fans pinning a lot onto this game, because with it being a local derby, all bets are off. The form book goes out the window, and any other cliche you can think about. And we can't lose everyone, right? I mean, we lost to Forest Green last season. There must be part of you that's a bit concerned, surely. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, our record at your place fills me with hope, because our record at your place is brilliant. for some reason. But then your record at our place is brilliant. Again, it's
ridiculous, isn't it?
It's stupid.
It's a good away following for both teams, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Well, our away record, we haven't won in 20 away games, so we are due to win an away win. But then you haven't won in 12 or potentially 13, so you're due a win. I think it could be one of those games where we both lose. I think if that was ever possible in football, Sunday would be the one. There's pressure on it. Matt Taylor, if we lose, obviously got Coventry midweek. If we lose to Coventry, and then you lose to you guys, best case scenario, we're going to be 9 points adrift, probably, and that's a huge gap. I think you are already 9 points, so you know how big you've changed the manager because of that gap. Mm-hmm. You've got to really question where do we go from there? If we're not going to pick up points against teams that are below us and had a record-breaking poor start, when are we going to start picking up points? Fans have started to question Matt Taylor a little bit. I think it's too early for that personally for me, because based on what he did last season with the horrific injuries we've had. But if we go consecutive losses and then QPR, if we lose to Coventry and you guys, and then QPR next week is a blockbuster, that could be Matt Taylor's job on line if it goes like that, because then if you lose to them as well, where do you go from there?
Well, I don't know, Matt, because the Championship's fucking insane.
Games, that's the problem. Because you could see QPR winning 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 5 out of 8, whatever. We're not going to do that.
Yeah.
We've never done that. I think in the last 4 seasons of the Championship, we've won consecutive games once, and that was last season.
Oh, that's nice.
We don't win consecutive games. It's just we don't do it, and we don't win away from home either. Yeah, I should be more positive than shouldn't I? Should try to be more positive.
I was just saying, the Championship is one of them leagues where you could drop your ass against us, and then against QPR, and then you can go and smash Leicester and bloody Ipswich, run away with the league whenever you play them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It could happen because that's what it's like. I mean, normally on these type of things, I normally sit and say to you, what sort of players are you looking out for on our side? Do you look at us and go, oh, shit, I don't fancy him? And everybody says Bannon and Windass and people like that. But, given the way our season's gone, you're probably not even worried about that, right?
Not particularly, no. And even more, I don't know what role's going to be like. I don't know what he's planning about, what's his players going to be. Obviously, at the start of the season, we're all looking to see if Smith plays and if Icky plays. I think Icky's injured, isn't he?
He's kind of in and out at the bit. He's farting around the pool. But those two playing against you would be difficult. But I kind of wanted to ask you about those two anyway, because Smudger was obviously the one that scored the goal to take you up, and it's happened a couple of times in his career where he's gone up to the Championship and he's not really had a good run in the Championship. Do you think he's found a level as a League One striker?
I think so, yeah. I think he really struggles. He's very limited at what he does. He runs hard and he runs a lot. He's quite a bit. He's obviously very big and he's fairly physical. Well, I wouldn't say he's extremely physical. I just think he can use it a little bit. And I think he can bully defenders in League One. I think the Championship defenders are too smart for him. He ain't got the pace, so he can't run away from anybody. I think League One is his level. I think if the Derby move would have gone through, which was rumoured, I don't know if it was true or not, that would have been a really good move for Derby and Smith, because he would have hit 20 goals again and fired them to promotion. That was why the 3-year deal you signed him on was crazy, because when he got up, you don't need him.
It's just one of them players like, we're up here now. Cheers, Smudge. See you later. That's pretty much it. But Ihekwe has managed to cement himself. Injuries aside, he's been quite unlucky with injuries with us.
Yeah,
but he's actually been one of our real standout defenders, and always seem to buy his defenders and wingers. And we've got a huge amount of people who can play in that position right now in terms of depth. And Ihekwe is, I would argue, one of the better ones that we've got. I mean, does that surprise you that he left, or that we wanted to sign him, or that he's doing bits, as the kids say, in the Championship?
I'm not surprised you signed him, because in League One, I think he's an excellent player. The thing we keep, certainly for us, was that it would go 90% of the season and he'd be brilliant. He'd not put a foot wrong. He's got a bit of pace to cover from his mistakes that Woody used to make. But the problem is when it goes bad, it goes nuclear. It is so bad. We played in 2017 or 18. He played in the playoff semi-final against Scunthorpe. He scored an own goal, contributed to another goal, and got substituted at half time in the second leg. and we didn't see him again for next 7 months or something like that. Just we played Morecambe in the promotion season, and he had the worst 45 minutes from a central defender I've ever seen. But then the week after, he was stunning again. I think if you can get somebody to mop up for his nonsense, you're golden. I also think League One's his level. I'm not convinced he is a Championship player, but I think he's got more chance of being a Championship player than Smith has, just because of his pace and a few other bits. He's better on the ball than most of the central defenders are. But he's just bad moments are so bad. So I'm glad I don't have to worry about those.
Yeah, innit? Well, it's all we've got. Take your pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've done this a lot more than we have. There is a euphoric moment, especially the way we got promoted, right? There's a euphoric moment about going, come on, we're fucking in the Championship. Come on, we're great. And then there's a moment that washes over you during the summer where you go, oh, shit. Like, the gulf of difference between League One and the Championship is quite large. Like, I didn't realize it was that big until we did it this time round, because before, we had a great ethos. We're a decent sized club. People want to come and sign for us, so you don't really think about it. But this time round, given the way our summer's gone, we're now looking at the old guard that got us up and these average signings that Chisco got in. I mean, what can you tell me about the difference between the Championship and League One? You must be sat there thinking, like, you know what I mean? There must be a bit of like Schadenfreude from your end.
Yeah, welcome to the Championship. I mean, this season particularly, because last season you had Reading who had 6 points to off them. Wigan had whatever points to come. There's nobody this season to cushion the blow, to sort of say, right, they don't have to worry about the bottom place or even bottom two. There's just one place to fight for. There's everything to fight for. And this is the best Championship what Rotherham have been part of possibly ever. It's just insane the amount of teams and players in here. So you look at the Leicester game. We played Leicester on 3rd game at season, and they're bringing Jamie Vardy on 70th minute and a £20 million in Didi or whatever else. I mean, what are you meant to do here? We've got 2 fit centre halves and a left back playing right back. It's just what are we meant to do here? This is not our fight. But then we've got to try, haven't we? We almost picked up something at Leicester, and that's almost the joy of it. And you almost beat these teams that you picked up a point against Leeds when maybe it weren't expected as well.
Absolutely robbed and blind.
No. But that's the joy of it, isn't it? You've got no right to get a point. It's almost like an FA Cup tie, but in a league, it doesn't make much sense. But yeah, it's fun and horrible at the same time.
Yeah, it really is, because I was saying that, as we were on this huge unbeaten run before we absolutely shit the bed last season, I was sat there saying getting promoted might be difficult because, at this time you had Southampton, Leicester, fighting around it, and I think West Ham looking like they were going to get dragged into it, and then maybe Leeds, and you're like, any of those teams that are in that dogfight at the Premier League are going to make this league fucking unbearable. And then to make it even worse, teams like bloody Luton and Coventry, teams who you would think would be bottom half of the table, are playing for a place in the bloody Premier. You're like, even the shit teams are good now. Can we just catch a break? Like, and then here's Rotherham again. Here we are, lads. Yeah, you're welcome. I'll see you in a couple of years. You know what I mean? Do you get parachute payments from the Championship to League One? I've no idea.
You do. We're the experts on this.
I was going to say.
I don't know what they are, and I don't think it's very much, but there are parachute payments from the Championship. It's probably like a Milky Bar or something like that. But there is something.
It means we can sign another player like Smudger. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just that time, that type of player. So listen, to wrap this up, Matt. I mean, I'm probably going to regret asking this, but I'm going to trouble you for a prediction, mate.
I'm going to go the classic Rotherham United away at Sheffield Wednesday and go 2-1 with a late winner.
A late winner, yeah. I thought you might. Listen, I don't know. I'd love to riposte with one, but given how tomorrow night's going to go, obviously by the time people listen to this, they'll know. But I think we need 4 points from these next 2 fixtures, and going away to Plymouth ain't the place to be going when you need points, is it? You know what I mean? No. So I don't know. I just hope the Wednesday fans turn up, but I know you guys will on the day. But listen, thanks a lot for joining me, Matt. See you later, pal.
Oh, right, pal.